All Over the Place with Casey and Shane.
All right, welcome back to All Over the Place with Casey and Shane.
Yeah,
nice
we've
to see you again.
we've had a couple of issues. We pretty sure the other show got canceled, so we're going to start.
Hey, are we?
Hey guys.
What's
Hey.
going on?
Nothing.
Nothing?
We're not doing anything. We're just.
Nothing.
I thought we were waiting after we got back.
I was testing your mic to make sure that it
Oh,
worked.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot for that.
We're gonna.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where did the chairs go?
Well, let's do the show. Yeah, where are the chairs?
All right, we ain't got.
We don't have chairs.
Yeah, okay.
Oops.
Well,
Make that
thanks, guys.
stop.
See you next week.
There's no entertainment value in helping people.
Promise him 2 beers, no more than 2.
My pronouns are His Holiness and Her Majesty.
I envy you in your ignorance.
And we're back after that wonderful episode about superhero powers and why you don't fucking want most of them. Today, what do you want to discuss? I mean, Sean, he has something he'd like to discuss, but he has a very different perspective as to this in perspective, compared to what we have. And Sean, let's hear it.
So I figured that today we could talk about what is the perfect first pet to get for your kid and like the reasons why for it. Now, my reasoning is that your first pet that you get for a kid should not be a cat or a dog because they live 15, 20 years and that could very easily become your cat or dog because your kid isn't responsible enough.
See, one thing it's not that it could be, it is.
Well, here I have thought of a way to fix this up, and that is that instead
Don't
of getting
get a fucking dog.
exactly, you don't get a cat, you don't get a dog, you don't get anything that lives really long. Perfect first pet, you get your kid a rat. They are clean, they are sociable, and they live for a max of 3 years. You tell your kid, I'm going to get you a pet rat. If you can take care of the rat, when the rat passes away, I'll let you upgrade to another
rat.
Well, see,
Yeah.
this is where his perspective vastly differs from ours.
Yes.
In that he's the only one sitting at this table that doesn't have kids.
Well,
Yeah.
here's the thing.
So of course we're going on his theories.
Here's the thing. If the kid cannot take care of the rat, and they're like,
Oh, they
I wanna,
can't.
They
Exactly.
can't.
No.
Exactly. They're like, I want a cat or a dog. You're like, you couldn't take care of the rat. Now you got to go through rat number 2. And you just keep cycling through rats.
But you're also, you don't have kids, so it's like you don't want to get them anything like that because you want to pick something that's going to be the least amount of work for you. Because as a kid, they're not going to do shit.
No.
It's like my first pet. Our grandmother for my first Christmas got me a Saint Bernard puppy.
Yes.
Guess how much I took care of that? The shits from that dog were as big as me.
It ripped a post out of the back porch.
Yeah, that's why I remember Dad saying that. He wasn't born yet, but yeah.
No.
He we've heard our dad say it so many times. So in finding a proper pet for a kid, I would no rodents, no reptiles, much more than a fucking goldfish. Something for them to look at because that's all they're really going to do with it.
Yeah.
It's like the first pet we bought Jenna specifically for her was one of those little beta fish.
Yeah.
And
They don't move.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's it.
They just
What are those cat toys? It's a little ball with a tail on it and just kind of rolls around. I should have got the kids one of those.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to take care of it at all.
One of
And
those.
They'll be like, well, watch it play. Look at him. And
Yeah.
Get them
I'll
one
tell
of
them it's
those.
an animal.
Get them one of those weasel balls that you used to see out in front of the KB toys. With just
Yep,
a ball
that-
with a little weasel thing that just rolled
That's-
around.
that's
Oh, yeah, and
That's exactly what he's
that's
talking
kinda
about.
what
is
I'm
it?
talking about,
because
yeah.
it was a trick. You could put it in a paper bag and it would look like there was an animal.
Yeah,
rooting
there's a
around.
Oh,
fucking
yeah,
rodent
that's
running
ideal
around.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but my personal would be yes, like what he's talking about, something like a goldfish or a beta, something because again,
Something that you don't have to do any work for because you, as the parent, you're shouldering all of the fucking responsibility.
Yes.
We used to
Because-
have a goldfish when I was a kid, and we had to keep replacing it. It kept dying every few days or whatever, and Years later, I was talking to my mom about that. She's like, "Yeah, because y'all kept taking it out and playing with it."
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Well, that'll do it.
Like, isn't the goldfish easier than cycling through dead rats every 3 weeks?
Yeah.
It's like, you know. Yes.
Yes.
You know why you say no?
Well, I
Because
guess-
you've never done it.
Well, I guess if instead of taking care of the fish, you are just cycling the corpse out, then yeah, because goldfish
Yeah.
are cheaper.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
they're fucking 89 cents. Like,
Yeah, and honestly, you flush them down the toilet. You don't have to look for a fucking good sturdy trash bag to throw it in.
no.
I've always said that it's like if you can flush an animal down the toilet, you don't actually feel sad when it passes away. Like
No.
I had a bird.
I don't feel sad about animals anyway. I don't like them.
I was a humane officer. I'm desensitized.
I'm against them.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. But the point here.
You're like, I'm desensitized against other people's animals.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do.
He
I-
worked at that shelter too. Yeah,
Yeah.
He absolutely.
I like my animals, but no, I don't like other people's. You know, I mean, if they're well taken care, if they're well behaved, like that's fine.
You didn't like my cat trying to mind control you to hunt down some squirrels outside through the window?
That's fine.
That's just
That's
you, Sean.
No, I was
that's
looking at Corey.
That
It
doesn't
was.
that doesn't happen to other people.
It's like the big one in the strawberry shirt doesn't seem like he's willing to get up in those trees for those squirrels.
But
Like, you're right, sir. I need to stay as close to the earth as humanly fucking possible.
Corey just hears like this in the back of his mind. It's just like, hunt them, kill them, hunt them, kill them, hunt them. And he's like, what is that? And he just looks up in the window, the cat just glaring at him.
Huh.
You're like, oh.
Oh, well, it's just one of Sean's cats.
But see, the only thing I will somewhat agree with Sean here is that a cat, now again, a cat, not a kitten, okay? Regardless of what it is, the kid will sit there and tell you, oh my God, I'll take care of it. They won't. Okay, let's just throw
Look,
that
I
shit
get
right
where
out
he
the
was
fucking-
coming from. He's trying to teach him responsibility and
Yes.
take care of the thing. But as a fucking parent, we know that that's a fucking lost
They
cause.
will
Yes.
not learn responsibility no, matter
No,
what.
because the thing is up
But
until...
after like one or two rats, you can be like, no, you
No,
can't
they'll
have
lose
that.
all interest.
The whole thing is, it's not going to teach them responsibility until it starts costing them money.
Yeah, until
Yeah.
it starts inconveniencing them, you know, they don't care. Like,
And as a parent, you want to choose your fucking battles. Like, is this the hill I want to die? No, I'm just not going to get another fucking rat.
yeah, because at the end of the day, you know, they'll be excited when you first get it.
Yeah.
And for the first day, two, I'll even go so far as maybe sometimes 2 weeks to a month. They'll be like, "Oh, it's so awesome." The second it shits in their hand, nips them, pisses on them, whatever it is, no more interest. And that thing might as well be the fucking, the Norditrack that you bought 10 years ago, and now it
Now it's a coat rack.
Yeah, now it's a coat rack. It's the same thing. They do not give a shit, and you are left.
Well,
taking care of
the whole thing, even though, I mean, not even given a bad situation, a kid's fucking attention span
Yes.
on something like that. It's like once the novelty wears off, they have very little interest overall. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to shit in their hand for them to lose interest.
Yeah,
That
and-
just means that they don't like it on top of being
That just
uninterested.
expedites the process.
That's it, yeah.
And-
that just takes away the whole, well, I like it. Now I don't like it because it shit all over me.
Exactly.
Or it chewed a hole in my fucking pillowcase or some shit like that.
Yeah, and the thing is a goldfish, yes, they're going to lose interest in that almost immediately because, well, most kids can't or shouldn't get them out and play with them. And again,
I'm not comfortable with that look you were giving.
That's best
That
case
seemed
scenario.
fairly accusatory.
Well, you know
I
what?
was that's what I was going for.
Guess how Jenna's beta died?
Because she got it out and played with it.
Yep.
But that's the thing is because a kid.
Well, actually, no. The second one died because of that. The first one died because I found out if you put a mirror down there, they'll
yeah.
attack it until they kill themselves.
Yeah, they'll
And I just wanted to see how strong their resolve was.
Yeah, me and a few friends, we all bought betas and we had a fighting tournament.
They fought to the death, but it was just banging their head on the glass.
Oh no, we would put them in the same.
If that's not a metaphor for parenting.
Oh shit!
but
It really is.
But even a goldfish, that's not. Admittedly, it's not going to hold their attention because they can't. They're not supposed to. They can't hold it. a rat, something like
The
that.
goldfish has a longer attention span than most of those kids.
Yes. And admittedly, a rat would hold their attention slightly longer because they can pick it up and touch it.
And it's fuzzy and furry. And
Yeah.
Whatever.
But
you hug it too hard, it still dies.
ultimately, whatever it
Anything
is,
too hard, it's going to
it's like if you get them a kitten, like that's the only thing I was going to slightly agree with you is that a cat, more or less, as long as you give them a box full of litter and some food every day, they're pretty
They're
low
low maintenance.
That's
Yeah.
literally all I do with mine.
And that's what I'm saying. So
And
a
yell at them
cat,
to
I
stop
will
fighting with each other.
put on the fence. It's not a terrible, but again, a cat, not a kitten.
Yeah, that's it. Basically, what he's getting at is you want something that is going to be as little fucking
Yes.
work on you as possible. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, even with a
Yeah.
cat, they're not going to feed them. They're not going
I
to change their
think-
fucking
No.
litter.
I think with your all's information that I actually have.
You've
the
decided not
best-
to have children?
Yes.
Yes.
That wasn't a choice.
Oh, okay. I just
But
thought you were-
Incel.
I have found
He has not had the opportunities to procreate.
exactly.
No.
By that point, I'll be too bitter. I'm like, women.
so fucking angry.
But no, the perfect first pet should be the animal that you already have as a pet before they were
Yeah.
born. You need like a 1 or 2 year old dog
That
you're
is
just
already
like
set in his ways.
that you're like, this is my dog, so I'm already taking care of it, and the kid just grows up with it, and then when
Yeah.
that dog dies, they're like 14, 15.
Well, that's what exactly Corey and I.
then
we
you
had-
hit him with a rat.
Yeah, we had a Cocker Spaniel, which we had one, and then I think me or Corey, one of them.
No, we both watched it get run over.
Yeah, we did. Sparky. Yeah,
It was replaced by another Cocker Spaniel, which lasted, 15 years?
17
Huh?
or 16.
16 years, okay.
Because I was 19 when I had to take it to the vet and have her put to sleep because she
Yeah.
was pooping her guts out. So
Yeah.
but anyway, but that's exactly right. Like our parents, they bought that dog for them, not necessarily for us, and we just grew up with her. And so, but our parents, again, as parents do, they bullshit and they're like, "Oh no, that's your dog too," And so,
Go walk it.
yeah,
It's like, I never claimed this dog as my own.
Be like, yeah, and it's not your yard either. Now get out there and cut the grass.
I told my kids and my wife that I'm not cleaning up any of our idiot dog shit anymore.
How far did that go?
Well, I told them the next time I have to clean it up, I'm getting rid of the dog because I've been wanting to get rid of it since like a week after we got it. She's too stupid to walk. She don't know how to act. So and when we go somewhere or whatever, we just chain her to the back porch.
Is this the one that ran off a while back?
Yeah, she ran off a couple times.
Okay.
But
Can't
so
stay gone.
There'll be 10 or 15 piles of shit in our tiny little backyard. And the president of the HOA stopped by like a week or two ago and was like, yeah, the guy that owns the place next door, some of your other neighbors are complaining. Plus one of our grounds crew people slipped and got covered in shit. And I'm like, I'll tell those kids or I will get rid of the fucking dog.
I'll be like, the HOA told me I got to get rid of it, so we got to do it.
Fair
next,
enough.
Next time somebody stops by, I get to get rid of it. And they still let it go for days. And I'm telling them, like, look, every day, at the most every 2 days, that shit needs to be cleaned up. Don't let it pile up to where there's like 20 piles out there anymore. Next time somebody stops by and embarrasses my ass again, that dog is fucking gone.
Gone, yeah.
Yeah, see, Sean, that right there, that's a perfect example. Like my son, his only job, he has a pooper scooper. He doesn't have to pick it up. He doesn't have to touch it. His only job is to scoop poop in the front yard because he goes out there and he likes to play soccer out there. Okay? He can't get that accomplished. And so he is more willing to hose the shit off of his feet and his shoes than he is to just walk around the yard with a pooper scooper. Like, my son will go out of his way to not have to go out of his way to do anything. So when you talk about, and because at the point where my son is and most kids, below 10 years old, they're at the parrot stage psychologically. So they can't think for themselves anyway. So unless you physically go out and be like, do it right now, they are not going to do it of their own volition.
That's what I got to do with my kids. I'm like, come on, we're cleaning up shit.
Yes.
And I will stand there and I'll put the bucket. There's your bucket. There's your scooper. Get it.
Yeah.
Which one did you have scrape it off the bottom of the door?
No, I had to do that.
But
Yeah, the dog that we had before, I was at work that night, and my wife slept, let the dog upstairs to sleep with her. So I walked in the front door, and I was like, God, I smell shit. I went to looking around, and all over the downstairs, didn't see nothing. I go upstairs, I'm like, oh God, that's bad. I opened the bedroom door, and he was a big dog. Apparently, he shit right in front of the bedroom door. So when I opened it, it went all over the fucking everything.
See, yeah, in deciding for a pet, that's the kind of shit you
And
want.
then I got laughed at because I would get like a paper towel and grab a handful of them and go all the way to the bathroom.
See,
You clean it up.
See, I had a situation similar to that, but it's where I thought it would kind of scare him straight to where he would start picking it up. Because one day he was sitting in the floor and he's like watching his iPad or whatever it was, and he had his how he had his hands like propped back. He's he's kind of reclined back with his hands. Well, he lifted up to push a button on his iPad or something, and at that point, Rebel, the pup, she walks over, and then she leaves. So
Keep in mind, Rebel's a big pup.
She's 90, probably 80, 90 pound German Shepherd.
Oh.
So, well, anyway, so he gets done and he rears his hand back and he just straight into the soft serve, like puts his hand straight in the shit, and he goes huh, 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 and he starts running through the hallway, huh, and I'm like
Wash it off.
And well, no, he didn't have any problem washing it off himself, but he was like, daddy, and I was like, what is your problem? He's like, Rebel pooped in the floor and I put my hand in it, and
Well, don't do that.
that's exactly, and he gets mad at me because that's exactly what I tell him. Like whenever something hurts or whatever, he's like, Daddy, it hurts when I do that. I'm like, well, don't do that. Like, Daddy, it hurts.
Put your hand in shit.
It's like I fell down and I hurt my leg. I'm like, well, don't do that. Like, and but yeah, I thought that would kind of kickstart the whole thing where he's like he doesn't want to put his hand in poop anymore. But now,
But yet he'll run all around the fucking front yard.
yeah, poop on his feet he doesn't care. Poop on his shoes.
On his ball.
And his soccer ball, yes. He hoses off his soccer ball 3 and 4 times a day because it gets dog shit all over it. And I tell him, I'm like, Gunner, it's so much easier.
Pick this shit up.
Yeah, I'm like, just scoop it up. And I even tell him, we have a little spot, like, he can throw it in a creek. Like, you'd never see it again.
Yeah.
But no, he is more willing to hose shit off of his feet and his shoes.
In regards to this kind of stuff, it's, where you don't have kids. So much of parenting is just sitting there pointing out how big a dumbass your kid is.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Like to their face.
Yes.
Like, yeah, well, that was pretty fucking stupid, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My oldest boy, he's really smart. He did something one time a few years ago. I don't remember what it was. And I was like, for a genius, you're kind of a dumbass. Huh?
See, that was with my daughter, like, because my oldest daughter, Isabel, she, I was so, I was first time dad, so I was so proud of her, and I'd sit here and she could, when she was like less than a year old, she could, even though it was kind of mush mouth, she could kind of point out her shapes like squares, circles, and I sat there going, she's a genius, and then 2 seconds later, I see her looking up and just staring, and she would stare at a ceiling fan for 3 hours.
Yeah, but
and
those are fascinating, though.
But the thing is if
It wasn't moving.
If it was moving, she had no interest in it. But if it was dead still, doing absolutely nothing, she was fascinated for hours, And this is also the same kid when she was 2 years old. I woke up, she was sleeping in the bed with me, and this was like 2:30 in the morning, something like that. And you know how sometimes you wake up and you just feel like something's like looking at you. You don't know why. It's just you wake up.
It's like you can't sleep when enemies are nearby.
Yeah, and so I wake up and she is literally 3 inches from my face, and so of course I jump and I'm like Isabel, what is your problem? And she's look at me with the creepiest smile on the planet, and she goes, I want to peel your face off. And I was like, what the? I'm like, what are you talking about? And then she just rolled right over and went back to sleep. And so the next day I asked her, and it turned out like I don't know if you ever seen the Captain America movies. She was big into those, and she loved Black Widow. And there's a part in that movie where like she pulls like a
She's got a mask on. Or
yeah,
something,
it pulls off, and so that's what she meant. Was she thought that she could pull like a mask off of my face. But again, it's 2:30 in the morning. I've been rudely awakened, and my
And the last thing you want to hear is a killer threat from your fucking child.
Yeah, and she's just like,
while she's giving you the Joker smile.
Yeah, she's giving me the creepiest smile.
She's like, Dad, we live in a society,
But yeah, Izzy, yeah, she's a special one.
Both of them are.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Gunner, yeah, I mean, and Gunner.
All three of them have their fucking drawbacks.
Oh, yeah. And Izzy, I thought, at one point when I thought Gunner had lost his eye, that was a fun day. Because they were playing with his tent in the living room, and Gunner was crawling out of it, and it had material on the bottom of the tent, too. And Izzy decides to yank it out from under him. And so he cracks his head on the side of the corner of the coffee table. And so I was out on the front porch, and Isabel runs out on the front porch, starts screaming, "Oh my God!" And she's freaking out. "Oh my God, Gunner! He hit his head." Blah blah blah. And so Gunner comes out, and he's holding his head. He's holding his hand up like this. I didn't realize. Like, I was sitting there going, "Oh fuck! He lost his eye. He lost it." And so I start thinking like how he's gonna look in a fucking eye patch.
Badass is how he's going to look at an eye patch.
And I was like,
do it just for the eye patch.
yeah, but I was flipping the shit out, and he's sitting there like this. And as little as he was at the time, he's like 2. And it took every bit that I had to pull his hand away just so I could see that his eye, and he just cut right around his eyebrow. Yeah. So it wasn't that bad, but as a head wound, it just bled everywhere. And then to this day, Isabel refuses to acknowledge that she's the one.
It was her fault.
Yeah.
Wasn't me.
Well, though, like, his son is the fucking king of this shit. It's like the parenting where your kids just ask fucking stupid questions.
Yes, they do.
And his kid is fucking phenomenal at this. Just like the dumbest shit possible. You sit down and eat. It's like, well, you gonna eat a burger? Well, it's sitting in front of me. I was thinking about it. But you know what? Jenna she's not to his fucking level as far as dumb questions. But like kids, you can attest, they will just come at you with the stupidest fucking questions imaginable. Mm-hmm. It's like me and Kat were watching Misery, with Kathy Bates. Hell of a good movie.
Yeah.
And here we are. It's about the big fight scene at the end. And he cracks her in the head with that fucking pig and kills her. Jenna sees that. And she's like, well, I wonder who gets her Paul Sheldon book collection. And we were like, who fucking cares?
See,
you're like, no one, because it's a movie.
Like, that's it. You have to have this fucking amazing amount of patience just to deal with the dumb shit kids will fucking throw at you. So getting them a pet, just find something that's going to be a little work on you, or like as little work as possible on you, but it's like all that other fucking shit you got to deal with.
To rebut what you were saying, Gunner, yes, he will ask the most.
He's like Vern from the fucking Stand By Me.
Yeah.
Where at the end of
I brought the comb. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's that, and also more of the more along the lines of when Will Wheaton was telling the story about the pie eating contest, and he's like, "Well, I have one question. Did Lardass have to pay to get in the contest?"
Yeah.
Who fucking cares?
But for all of Gunner's stupid questions, he also does shit that is every so often that is absolutely genius. Like when he was in kindergarten, he tricked his kindergarten teacher into believing that he was diabetic.
That's diabolical.
Yes, because there was a little girl in his class that was diabetic, and in the middle of the day, I guess to keep her blood sugar up, she got an extra snack that the other kids didn't get. So the teacher, she stands up and she says, "Hey, come up here and get your snack." And she says, I can't remember if it's cookie or pudding, but anyway, he fucking wanted it. So he goes, and I guess he'd heard her talking or something, and he goes, "Miss Spring," and she's like, "Yes, Gunner." And he goes, "I get low blood sugar. And so I go to pick him up. And his teacher storms out and puts her finger in my face, starts yelling at me, talking about how irresponsible I am, how shitty, I mean, she didn't say shitty as a Christian school, but she was talking just how, awful and how dangerous it was that I didn't tell her about this. She's like, you should have had this on his form. She's like, I could have killed him. And, and I'm like, what?
I could kill him too.
And I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, you did not inform me that he was diabetic. And I was
Nobody informed me that he was either.
I was like,
we're in the same boat.
And I was like, he's not diabetic. And she goes, what? And I was like, he's not diabetic. I was like, where did you get the idea that he was diabetic? So she tells me a story, and I was like, and so.
Well played, fat child.
And yeah, he wanted.
He's not diabetic. He's just fat.
He likes his pudding.
He wanted that damn cookie, and so I couldn't even get mad at him and I even told her, I was like, listen, I was like, I can't even really punish him. I was like, because if he fooled you, I was like, he just wanted a cookie.
That sounds like that's your bad, not his.
Yeah. And I told her, I was like, from now on, if he decides to tell you he has anything like, I don't know, cancer, HIV, whatever, I was like, just give me a call, And she's like,
HIV, so we can get him on some of them commercials.
Yeah, you don't want him. He don't need to be rearranging guts on the playground, But
well, I mean, to be fair though, at that school, the one time they called me, and they really didn't want to because I'm large and reactionary, and the tattoos just scared them. It was because Jenna hit her head on the playground and was bleeding. It was a very little cut, but she was bleeding all over the place. And they did not want to call me, so they called Kat at work, and she was like, call Corey. He's home. So he'll be right up. I work nights. And I get up there. They are fucking in full panic mode when I walk in. Because they thought that I would have some sort of bad reaction and, just scream or whatever. I don't know what they were expecting out of me, but they were fucking terrified.
They work with kids every day. They know kids do that shit.
That's it. That's what blew my fucking mind. They were freaking out, and they were like, yeah, I mean, we looked away for a second, and she just hit her head on the thing.
It's fine.
And that's all I said was like, kids hit their fucking head. Who cares?
That's because they didn't actually know you as Corey. They just knew you as Chet Cartwright. And they're like, man, that guy,
he strolled up.
He's
in
a
singlet and
Sadly,
Did you
you're
bring
not
the belt?
far off. They think like that image of me is what they had. They see the fucking tattoos and all that shit, and where they're a Christian school, they're apparently very sheltered. In that they thought that I was going to come in there and just blow my shit, and it's like, kids hit their fucking head. It's not a big deal.
There are parents that do that. That's why
they thought I was going to be one of them just because of how I looked, and I was like,
but that's why
nope.
with every teacher Gunner has had since kindergarten, I have had to tell them at the beginning of the year, listen, I am not one of those parents that's going to believe that my child can do no wrong. I was like, because I love Gunner to death, like, I'd kill for him if I had to, whatever, what parents are supposed to do. But
would you kill him to save him from himself?
No, but
well, I would.
But the thing is I'm realistic, and I understand, kids do shitty things, and so I tell the teacher, I'm like, listen, if you tell me that Gunner's, he's not doing something or he's acting up or whatever, I was like, unless it's completely out of character for him, I was like, I'll believe you.
Two of my kids are absolute little shits. I'm not gonna get mad because a teacher told me something.
Yeah, and
you're like, nope, sounds about
right.
right.
The other one, I'm gonna be like, you're a fucking liar. That kid's a saint.
I mean,
but the other two,
yeah.
I mean, the one I can see you getting reacting like that for, because it sounds like he's actually a good one.
Yeah, I've never heard of a kid as good as this one.
And that's the thing about Gunner is Gunner doesn't have a mean bone in his body. He's not mean. He's not spiteful. He's not. But
my two are.
He's just thoughtless and
his
lazy.
Common sense is complete.
Yes.
He went in the fucking Nightcrawler wormhole and never came out.
But he's a sweet kid, and he's the complete opposite of me, because when I was in school,
No, he's not.
Huh? Yes, he is.
He's a pain in the ass.
He's absolutely extroverted. I'm not. Like
in that instance, yeah, you're right.
because when I was in school, if there was some kind of underground tunnel that only I knew about that I could use to get to my class and never have to interact with anybody, I'd have done it every day. But Gunner, when he walks down,
I'm in the process of digging one.
My tunnel was right through the middle of the fucking biggest crowd.
But Gunner, when he goes into his school, I mean, everybody's like, oh, hey, he's a little Fonzie, you know. They love him there, and I don't know where he gets that shit from because I'm not social at all. Like, you know.
You got it from me.
He's way too much like you. Like, he sweats like a pig. He eats. I mean. He does exactly what you used to do, where you would cook something in a microwave. And
I used to do that.
And then, but then eat cereal as you're waiting on your food.
I still do that. Like there ain't no use to it. I still fucking do that.
I'll stand there watching the microwave cook with a bag of chips.
Like
no.
If there's like the other day, I was microwaving something and I was like, "Hey, I got a can of cashews right there while I'm waiting."
But see,
I ate 3/4 of that can of fucking cashews.
But see, that's your light days. I remember in school, you would prepare food to eat while you're preparing your other food to eat, like your main food to eat. Like it wasn't just like cashews or chips. It was like baked steak and then fucking French toast or pancakes or whatever. Like
I don't want to wait.
Yeah,
I have a hard time cooking for the whole family because I eat half the ingredients while I'm cooking.
Mm-hmm. Depends on
So
what
I tried to make a lot, guys. I don't know.
Like we just didn't have enough of that one thing that went in here.
I had to test it and make sure it was done.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
What, burger?
But yeah, Gunner is way more like his uncle than either one of them would probably.
God help us all.
He is, like, because he absolutely believes it's perfectly fine to wear flip-flop sandals in 6 inches of snow.
Yep.
He will wear shorts year-round, doesn't matter if it's 30 degrees below zero.
And I'm 41 years old, and my parents still bust my balls about that.
Yeah, they do. Because
they're like, "Are you ever going to wear it?" No.
It's like, just give him 30 years, he'll be in a factory somewhere fighting crackheads about climate change.
The myth.
Fuck that shit. Climate change my ass.
Oh, climate.
But yeah,
That's how plants be like.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the long and short of the parenting aspect. Like, choosing a pet, that's really not a big issue.
You're not choosing a pet for the child in the end.
The worst pet you could possibly get a child is a sibling.
Yes.
Yeah. That's it. He would know.
They live way too long.
They do.
Oh,
they
yeah.
live way too long. They're a lot of work for you to take care of.
You just can't go to the pet shop and say, "Give me another one of these."
Yeah, and then also
it's frowned upon to put them down.
Also, if the older sibling hates the younger sibling, you're gonna have literally. This is no joke. The day my mother brought me home from the hospital, she had to turn right back around and go to the ER because he hated me so much. He dove into the back seat and split his chin open. Had to get stitches.
What chin? Right there.
All right. Well, yeah.
I didn't have to get stitches on that one.
But yeah, he
I
had to
thought
go.
you were going to say as soon as she got home from the hospital with me, she realized she left Corey. Had to turn around and go back and get him.
No, shit, no. They never left me anywhere.
He
was the motherfucker because we'd have 2 vehicles there, and then we'd get home, and Mom and Dad both thought the other one picked Casey up. But here's a little dipshit just walking around down in Clinton. It's like, where is he? Hell, probably still down at the church.
Yeah, they left me.
He was great at getting left, though. We went to one of those shows, like Masters of the Universe on Ice or some shit, and he got a sword. And they all thought that he went inside. They thought the other one had got him out of the car and got him inside. Well, he was, like 20, 30 minutes go by, and they not seeing him. And they were like, "Well, did we fucking leave him in the car, in the garage, with the lights off?" And he's in there with his little fucking light up sword, squalling like a fucking banshee.
Well, no. To add on to that, when I was 4 or 5, I don't know if you can still see it, but I slipped. A kid hit me with a drumstick and slit my eye open, and I did have to get stitches for that, but. Mom and Dad, they drive home from church after they put a patch on my eye, and I could literally see through my eye. It was bad. Well, anyway, they left me in the car then, too, for about an hour. while they went upstairs and got changed, and I was sitting there with a patch on my eye, just going.
So see, basically, you got to keep track of them.
Yeah.
Certain ones.
And I got left at the baseball field 3-4 times. I got
Sound
left
like they was trying to get rid of you.
Yeah, and
He just
keeps coming back.
Yeah, but their
Yeah,
fucking
'cause
conscience kept getting it.
Because it doesn't sound like something where it's like, oh, Casey ran off and he hid somewhere, and something that's just like, oh no, we just forgot him.
the ball field. I will.
Dad was the president of the Little League, so we were at the ball field a lot at that point in time.
And I ran off to a neighbor's house, literally right beside of it. But I was playing in his front yard with Justin. What's his name?
Bird,
yeah. And I was playing with him in the front yard, and Dad just took off because he thought, I guess, that Mom.
He thought that Mom took
Yeah.
him, and when Mom thought he's riding home with Dad. Well, but
Sounds like your parents have communication issues.
Yes.
just in regards to him.
No, they have.
You take him. No, you take him. No, you take
They
him.
have communication issues in general because one
But at
of
that point, it was mostly, who got Casey this time?
well, no, but because even.
Fine, I'll take him.
Because even now, I'll get a call from Mom, and she'll say, "Hey, do you know this or that or whatever?" And so then I'll hang up with her. 5 minutes later, I'll get a call from Dad. Oh, did you know? He'll tell me the exact same thing. And I'm like, did Mom not tell you? Well, no. Where's she at? Oh, she's upstairs. I'm like, so,
Go ask her.
Yeah, I'm like, why are you calling me? Like, just talk to her. Well, she don't tell me nothing,
Yeah.
And,
But yeah, there we go. Like that's it. I think we looked at certain shit where people, like prospective parents, they don't even consider this shit.
no.
It's like
No.
keeping track of them, keeping them fucking quiet, finding a pet that you don't have to work a whole hell of a lot on because you're going to be doing it all anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, my God. It's like there's a lot that goes into kids these days, and they're fucking expensive.
Yeah. That's
So,
true. And
Yeah. Do you think we have enough for this episode? Did we answer any potential questions you may have?
I don't think we have anything at all for this episode.
I think Sean's.
Do you know what we do have? We have the time.
We are.
That's
yes.
all that
I
matters.
will say,
Hopefully we have the video because I have no idea if that's working.
I think after this episode, though, I was like, even if it wasn't before, I think your penis is now just for show.
Yep.
who we showing it to?
That's it.
Not
Hey,
the kids.
Passersby,
Exactly.
Pedestrians, whatever.
Don't show it to your neighbor's kids.
The
That-
cats.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
I don't got a landlord that I love to take me in after I get
Oh my
banished
God.
from the
Okay.
town.
You know what? Let's call it a day.
We're
on
doing
this.
a lot of callbacks.
Yeah.
Long-time listeners of the show, all
Yeah, we've referenced a
none of
whole lot
you.
of shit.
all 5 of you.
Okay, well, if you actually sat through all of that, then congratulations for you.
You're more dedicated than we are.
Yeah.
We toned out a long time ago.
Yeah, we will see you all next time. Thanks a lot, and
Do we cut here?